What is good, guys? It's Rey-Jay back with another video, and in this one I want to break down what's going on with Tesla, SPY, Nvidia, the QQQ, and a couple of other tickers. I'm also going to provide you guys with a very important warning for tomorrow, as we have big data coming out that's going to affect how the market ends up moving. But before I begin the devil's information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things. I am firstly not a financial planner, so take nothing I say as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below in the description. If you sign up for Webull and deposit $500 into the account, you're guaranteed 20 free stocks. If you deposit $25,000 or more, you're guaranteed 75 free stocks. The offer ends tomorrow. Check it out before they run out. Anyways, looking at SPY, this thing's been just trading sideways, going back and forth and back and forth. It's been holding above 550, which is a good sign. It's showing some strength, but the question is, will it end up continuing to push or not? And right now, I just want to give you guys a very important warning. So, my warning for everyone is that tomorrow is going to be Thursday, February 29th. And before the market opens at 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, 1 hour before the market opens, we have PCE data coming out. This is going to be very, very important. We're expecting PCE to be at 2.4% year over year. And for core PCE, we want that to be around 2.8 to 2.9%, basically aligning with what we saw from before. So we'll see what happens with PCE. What is PCE? It's just like CPI, basically just like the important inflationary data we tend to see. So we'll have to wait and see what this looks like and how this ends up going. So I'll be watching for this very carefully. I'll see how this ends up looking, and this is going to be huge. Now, I'm expecting some high volatility. I read that we're expecting at least a 3+ point move by SPY just because of PCE. And the problem is, it's coming out before the market opens. So if you're holding anything right now, any overnight positions, I want to warn you to be very careful. You never know what could end up happening. SPY is holding at 505 quite nicely. There's a chance it may try to bounce, but nothing can be guaranteed, and there's going to be a lot of trickery. What do I mean by trickery? So what happens is there are people who are watching us when we day trade, okay? Not literally watching us, but I mean that they're looking at the data. They're looking at where do most people have their stops? Where are most people targeting? What do most people think is going to happen? They're watching it and they know what's going to be the most beneficial for them. I can't say too much about this, but I'm just going to say a couple of things. And when they do this, there's going to be a lot of trickery, most likely. So that's the reason why sometimes you see moves or SPY like comes down fast, then it bounces like crazy quickly. Sometimes it pops out of nowhere, then comes back down like insanely. They're going to be looking at like Max Payne, are retail buying a lot of stocks, are they selling? What are they doing? And then they make moves based off that. So I want to warn you that tomorrow when we open, there's going to be a lot of trickery and a lot of manipulation, and we're going to see some crazy volatility. So ultimately, I don't know what's going to happen, okay? And that's why I want to warn you to be careful. They could gap SPY all the way down to 503 and start, taking it down to 500. They could gap it down to 503 and make just like bounce like crazy. Imagine it, they drop it, everyone starts shorting, and they start pushing it back up again. All sorts of things like that could happen. It could even just bounce and squeeze and then just break the all-time high again. Who knows what's going to happen? It's very tricky to predict. So once again, if you're holding a position and you don't have a brokerage that allows you to exit your position, whatever kind of position is, because it could vary, but if you can't exit your position before the market opens, then you're most likely going to be stuck holding overnight if you were to do that. And by the time the market opens again, the PCE data will come out and the market will likely gap in one direction or the other. So I want to warn you to be very careful. PCE could launch the market much higher or it could cause the market to crash. So we'll just have to wait and see. As of right now, SPY is very indecisive, going back and forth and back and forth. And we'll see what the big move is. I think it's just waiting for the PCE data. For the QQQ, it's similar to SPY. If you look at this, what's it doing? It's just going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Price action, right? You guys can see this quite clearly. It was up, then down, up and down, up, down, back and forth, back and forth. So going into tomorrow, we have this gap up here. Are we going to launch up and fill this gap and start pushing past 438? Or are we going to get a big rug pull and end up coming down to fill like a part of this gap down to 431? Who knows, guys? But if you're holding overnight, if you're holding calls overnight, you might lose a lot of money. You may even make a lot of money. Who knows? But you have to be very careful. I want to give you guys that warning. PCE is full of manipulation. How about Tesla? And by the way, excuse me. By the way, PCE is going to affect this, but from a technical standpoint, the QQQ is looking a little bit weaker. It is coming down just a little bit. It's been downtrending just a bit, so just be careful. But PCE is going to have a bigger effect on it. For Tesla, Tesla formed a nice double top right here, but it's still holding up very nicely. We're still above 200. And overall, you could argue that it's forming a nice accumulation here. This was also like another nice accumulation. Are we about to see a cup and handle play out? This is like a cup and this is like a handle. Is it about to break 205? If we break 205, that is your confirmation Tesla's about to break out and explode. But if this is a trap, if Tesla fails, you have to see it lose 198. In terms of patterns, this is looking bullish. It does look like it's going to try to break out. It does favor that, but don't forget that PCE is going to be another big factor. So we'll see what that causes. So watch for this. Don't just blindly bet on one direction. Let's see if we can get that breakout. It hasn't broken out yet, but it still could later. So there's a good chance it might try to push higher later on. So far, Tesla's showing some strength. For Nvidia, in my opinion, it's on a slight downtrend right here. But the thing is, it's going to be making a very big move after the PCE report. Now, I'm seeing this imbalance out here at 776. It does look like it might come down a little bit lower. Then we'll have to see if this breaks this yellow line or not. If it breaks this, we're going to be pushing to the 790s. If it rejects off this, we're going to be sinking back down to 771. We'll just have to see which way this breaks and just be very patient in the process. So wait and see how it goes. We'll see how Nvidia does, and we'll just be very patient nonetheless. So be very patient. We'll see what happens with Nvidia, and we'll just have to wait and see. I also want to note that if we do get this rejection here, we could drop even lower, a little bit lower, at least for the time being. It is looking a little bit weaker. And if PCE causes the market to drop, expect a bigger drop down below 771. And the opposite could also happen, so just be careful. Nvidia still looks kind of weak. Now, what about for Aapl? Aapl, in my opinion, it got this big rejection. We're barely at 180 right now. Will Aapl get a big bounce and try to push back up thanks to PCE and try to retest this trend line, even break this? Or is Apple about to collapse down to 178? We're at support right now. It hasn't officially broken support, so don't expect it to just crash immediately. We'll just have to wait and see. But once again, if you're holding anything, whether it's Tesla, Apple, Nvidia, if you're holding anything overnight, be very careful because a very big move is coming and who knows how this could pan out. All right, guys. So with that being said, this is your last chance. The market closes in about 45 minutes from the time I'm recording this. The market's going to close very soon. If you want to hold overnight, you can make a lot of money and maybe it's going to work out. But if I were to hold anything overnight, I would make sure the position is very small and I would manage risks very well. So I would manage risks, just to be clear. I'd be very careful with my trades on a day like this. And also, I just want to make it clear that expect some high volatility and get ready for some insane moves tomorrow. I also anticipate a lot of manipulation, so just get ready and do what you have to do. All right. So this is your chance, guys. If you want to exit anything, it's your choice. If you want to sell some shares in something, if you want to exit your options, that's your choice. This is your last chance. Otherwise, forever hold your peace. All right. Thank you for listening. Have a great day and peace out.